Hey you guys, in today's video I'm going to show you how to make these really easy, very frugal, easy on the budget gorditas. And you can put anything that you want in them. What I've done here today is I had a little bit of leftover kalua pork, or like pulled pork. I also put a little bit of cheese on there. I think I just used mozzarella, any kind works. I served it up with some refried beans and some freshly sliced tomato, onion, and jalapeno. So I'm going to show you guys just how I did it. I hope you enjoy the video. I needed some non-copyrighted music, but I couldn't find any. So I had to make my own, and I have no idea what I'm doing. So I'm using this. This is the Maseca. This stuff is super cheap and there's a ton of stuff that you can do with it. It doesn't have to be really hard. I like this stuff because it's so versatile. So I'm going to start out by showing you guys how to make the masa.
So I put it all of it, right? Yeah.
So here we're just going to dump in about 3 to 4 cups and I'm going to add about 1 tablespoon of salt. So I don't know if it's the same for you, but in my supermarkets, it's getting harder and harder to find certain staples like flour especially. And if that's the case for you, go ahead and pick up a bag of this masa, and there's a lot of different recipes that you can make with it, including an oatmeal, not an oatmeal, it's more like a cream of wheat type thing, but yeah, there's just so many things. You can do it as a hot breakfast cereal, and you can make it more liquidy and make it a thick drink. There's a lot of things to do. So this is one of them. I showed you guys the sopes last time. If you haven't seen that video, be sure to check it out. I'll leave a little info card somewhere on the screen here. And these gorditas is made with the other half of that bag. Yes, it's the same stuff that you use for the tamal if you're gonna make tamales. So yeah, pick up a bag. Like I said, you can do so much with it. I'm stirring in the salt really well into the masa, and there's a lot of different recipes where you can add baking powder and milk to keep it softer, but right now I'm just keeping this very basic because of the situation that I'm in right now. This is what I have on hand, and they will turn out fine. They're not going to maybe poof as much, but it's fine. This is perfect. It'll work. So I am adding about 2 cups of water, and it's gonna be, you want to use warm water for this, and we're gonna have to let the masa absorb the water. So even after it absorbs the masa, the water, you might still have to add that. You still might have to add some more water. So I'm just scooping. You gotta make sure to scoop from the bottom because the pockets of dried masa really like to hide. So just be sure to incorporate it really well and get all that water in there. I think for about 3 to 4 cups of masa, I probably used about 3 cups of water. So just eyeball it, and you'll know when it's done when you can form a ball and pat it down and the sides don't crack. Now that we have our masa at the point that it's about ready, I'm sorry I forgot to tell you that I also started my pan with a little bit of oil. And you can fry these. I love frying stuff, so half of them I did fry, and some of them I just put a little bit of oil on my pan to give them a pan fry. So either way that you want to do is perfectly fine, and they both will work well. So the pan, the heat, you don't want it super hot. You're probably going to do like a medium heat because you want to make sure that not just the outside gets cooked. We want to make sure that it's a nice medium heat so that way the inside will get cooked as well. So just make sure to not have your pan too hot, and these are going directly right onto the hot comal. So the tortillas are the skinny ones, and the gorditas actually means little fat. They're a little fatter. So the width of your gorditas can be however fat you want them. But remember that the thicker that you make them, then the lower that you want to have the temperature on your stove, because you're going to need it to cook all the way through that thickness. So here I have my lightly greased pan, and I'm just going to flip these, and they're getting a little bit browned, but you'll know when they're ready when you tap on them and they have a more hollow sound and they're a little bit harder and crispier on the top. So that tapping sounds means that it's done. So I'll flip this one and tap it again. And that's done. So you can see that it's nice and toasted brown, and it's got that nice tap, meaning that it's pretty much done in the middle. And so I'll just go ahead and take these off the stove and we'll plate them up. Before I start plating those up real quick, I'm just gonna go ahead and lightly grease my pan again and add a couple more gorditas to my comal so that they can cook while I'm plating this one up. I think I missed this footage the first time that I put them onto the comal, so I'm just going to show you really quick. I'm flattening them out, and if they get cracked a little bit, just go ahead and push the masa back. It's not a big deal, but you could keep your masa covered while you're waiting for the next ones to cook because it will start drying out. And I think I did have to end up adding a little bit more water even after I had reached a good water point, just because I forgot to cover it up and it dried out a little bit. So don't worry if that happens to you. Just feel free to add more water, and then this is how I put them on the comal, and we'll leave these here to cook. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes depending on how fat the gorditas are. So this is how we do it. Flatten it up and just stick it on the lightly greased comal, and you're good to go. My husband always likes his jalapeno a little bit like either fried or roasted, so I'm just going to add this onto the side as well and start flipping these over. And you can see that my stove is not too hot. It's taking a little bit of time to cook these through, but that's okay. It's better than having them burnt on the outside and raw in the middle. And I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit more grease to my pan. I'm using bacon grease. You can use any kind that you want. I just love to use bacon grease if I have it, but any kind of corn oil or vegetable oil, whatever you want is fine. Next, we need to start preparing our fillings, and you can use whatever you want. For the kids one, I'm just doing cheese and refried beans. And for my husband and I am using some canned Kahlua pork that I had. So you can use anything that you want. If you have leftover taco meat, or even if you just have beans and cheese, anything that you want tastes good. So I am just shredding up. Right here I have the mozzarella cheese. So you can use any kind that you want. I have used cheddar before as well. Here is the Kahlua pork that I'm going to be filling with. I jarred it up myself, so I'm not sure if you guys are interested in seeing a recipe for that. It's Kahlua pork. It's a Hawaiian recipe, and so let me know if you guys are interested in seeing that. I would be happy to show you guys how I make it and how I can it up. I know that putting the Kahlua pork is not traditional to put into the gorditas, but I just cook whatever we like to eat. So we love local Hawaiian food, and we love Mexican food, and any kind of food really. So real quick, here is how I'm frying the other gorditas. I like these ones. I like the fried ones, but my husband likes to stay away from too much fried food. So this is just a light fry. I just wanted to show you guys really quick 2 different ways to cook it. Another good alternative is to put the cheese right inside the gordita, just like I'm doing here, and squishing it together. I am using my thumb to press the cracks out because it keeps on cracking on the side. That's okay, so you just keep forming it like this until you get the cheese evenly enclosed, and this will spill out a little bit, but that's okay because who doesn't like fried cheese, right? I mean, is it just me? I think it's delicious. So this is what I'm doing. These ones taste really good. This is a different way to make sort of like a quesadilla is what it's going to taste like, and the kids and I really, really love it, so just wanted to give you that extra option too. Alright, back to the comal with the jalapeno on it. I turned up the heat, and I am going to add the Kahlua pork right onto it to give it that little crisp that it doesn't get when you jar it up. And again, this is optional. You don't have to do that. I just really, really like, especially when the fat gets that little crisp layer on it. So it's completely up to you. You can just skip that step and just heat it all up together at once, or put whatever you want in there. You could use shredded chicken, anything you like. So just do whatever you think that you feel like eating. Alright, now that we have everything ready, what we're gonna do is take a knife and we're going to split down the side of our gordita all the way to the bottom, but you don't want to split it all the way through. And then we're going to take whatever fillings you want. In this case, it's a Kahlua pork, and I'm going to shove it down in there and top it with some of that cheese and then a little more of that Kahlua pork. And that is our gordita. I didn't make a salsa this time, but what I'm doing is I'm putting the jalapeno. I am stirring it up with some refried beans, and I'm just gonna add a couple of slices of fresh tomato and fresh onion. And that is an easy way to get out of having to make a fresh salsa every day. You just add the stuff that goes into the salsa on the side. Pretty cool trick, right? Anyways, that's the video, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed this video as much as we enjoyed eating it. If you did, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up and leave your comments down below. And thank you so much for watching. I needed some non-copyrighted music, but I couldn't find any, so I had to make my own, and I have no idea what I'm doing.